Good morning, grade 12. So we are going to look at grade 11s. We're going to look at another bank reconciliation statement real quick. So I just want to see, oh, I didn't plug this thing in. That's okay. Right. So we have to do the bank reconciliation for 31 October 2018. And then we also have to calculate the correct balance as per the bank account in the general ledger. Sorry, there's a slight delay. I don't know what's going on now. There we go. Okay, I think we are sorted now. Okay, so let's go to the information. So they have provided us with a bank reconciliation statement for the previous month. So the reason why they are giving you the bank reconciliation for the previous month is, remember, when you did your recon in September, you said these are the outstanding deposits that I do not see on the bank statement yet, but I've already recorded these in my CRJ. So at some point, I would want to see this on my bank statement because I received the money. So it should be my bank account, because when I received the money, I went to the bank and I deposited the money. Because if it's now not on the bank statement, then it's missing. Someone stole it, got lost. It's just not there. With my EFTs, I said that these EFTs are in my CPJ. And I now need to see if it finally reflects on my bank statement, because these are payments that I made in September that for some reason might just be that there was a delay in the showing on my bank statement, or that I actually didn't make these payments. The accountant maybe made an error or something. So I need to see if this is now finally on my bank statement. Okay, then you also have your bank as per your bank account. So your bank balance as per your bank account. So in other words, you have your general ledger balance on the last day of September 2018, which means that you have your opening balance of your bank account on the 1st of October 2018, the month for which you now have to calculate the correct bank account balance and then do your bank reconciliation statement. Okay, so in the bank recon, first of all, we want to now see the things that we said didn't reflect on the bank statement last month. Is it now reflecting correctly on the bank statement? And then also your balance as per your bank account in last month's reconciliation is then your opening balance of your bank account in the current month. Because remember, last month, just give me a moment. There was just an announcement real quick. Okay, so last month you said this is what I have in my bank account, but the bank statement doesn't agree with what I have in my bank account at month end. And this is then, remember, you are carrying it down at the end of September to bring down with you into the new month, that is the 1st of October 2018. Then they told us that we have already, for October, we have recorded some things in our CRJ and our CPJ. So we started with an opening balance, and then we're now going to add onto it the CRJ and the CPJ items, and then we will see what has happened with the rest. I just want to have my answer book. Okay. So in other words, if I now have to calculate my bank balance on the last day of October, I have to start with my opening balance. So I have to start with my opening balance as per last month's reconciliation of 258. I hope it's not going to be too noisy now because learners are moving in the school building. Oh gosh, there we go. Okay, so 258,800. There we go. And then we now have to calculate the correct amounts in the CRJ and the CPJ for us to add the CRJ. So we're going to add the CRJ amount, the total as per the CRJ, and we are going to subtract whatever we had in the CPJ to then get to our closing balance as per our bank account. So closing balance. There we go. Right. So when you now compared your September reconciliation to the October bank statement, you notice the following. The outstanding deposit of 72,400, so this one over here, that and EFT 6213 over there, both of these appeared on the October bank statement. So you are now fine with these two amounts because last month you had it in your journals and now it's also on the bank statement. So you are sorted with that piece of information. You have used it. It's on both sides, no errors there. However, the amount of 93,000 Rand, the big one there, was never deposited into the bank account. Please see information D below. Okay. So remember, you have it in your CRJ currently. They are saying for the previous month, they are saying it was never deposited into the bank account. So it says here that the EFT was recorded, EFT 6214. So now they're moving on to the EFT first. So they're saying this EFT was recorded by the bank as 45,100. You had it as 54,100. It appears that Barry had recorded an incorrect amount in the CPJ. The bank statement is correct. So in other words, when you recorded this payment in your CPJ, you recorded more than what the actual payment was that was processed by the bank. So you have more payments in your CPJ. So you now need to remove the difference. So you said it's 54,100. They are saying no, it's 45,100. So there's a 9,000 Rand difference there that you now have to remove from your payments. But you know that you may not have negatives in your CPJ. So you are going to go to your CRJ and you will add back the 9,000. The zeros are the difficult ones with this writing pad. Okay, so 9,000 Rand, because it shouldn't have been included in your payments. It was only 45,100. So just add it back. Then you questioned Barry about the missing 93,000 Rand. So now they are back at the outstanding deposit. He said that he was too busy to go to the bank and he asked one of your other employees to go and deposit this amount. He could not remember who, and he said that he does not know what happened to the cash. So you now need to write this amount off. You will investigate this further, but for now, you have to assume that you are never going to get this 93,000 Rand back. Because how does 93,000 Rand just kind of lay somewhere without anyone noticing there's a random 93,000 Rand lying around? Okay, so you now need to say that, okay, last month I said this was a deposit in my CRJ. So these are the amounts currently in your CRJ for September. The bank is saying no, it's not there. So you have to write it off for now. You may not have a negative in your CRJ, so you are going to write that amount in your CPJ to get rid of the amount that you previously said that you received, because clearly you ain't going to get that money. Let's be honest. Okay, so 93. So now we have reconciled all of the items on last month's reconciliation. This is just what the bank statement balance was that month. But remember, when we are doing reconciliations, we are starting, if we don't have the transactions throughout the month, we are starting with the year-end balance. The only reason why we started with the opening balance for our bank account is because they gave us the details for the in-between for this month. But here, your bank statement, you're not going to use this. You just want to know what your bank statement balance is at month end. Okay, so now we have used information D. We are happy with that. Moving on. The October bank statement reflected the following items that did not appear in the journals. So unless they now tell you the bank made a mistake, it means that you must record these transactions because it's on the bank statements. You definitely made these payments. You definitely received amounts, but you haven't yet recorded those. So unless they tell you you made a mistake, you are just going to go to your books and you are going to record the transactions. So first of all, you had bank charges. So bank charges is a payment. So you have 1,310 Rand that you paid. Then interest on the savings account. So in other words, you earned interest. So you received interest of 2,400. They will tell you if it's interest paid. They will either say interest paid or interest expense or interest on loan, or they will tell you interest on the unfavorable bank balance. Then you know this is actually a payment being made. Then an EFT received for 8,800 Rand for the rent from a tenant. So also EFT received, so another CRJ, so 8,800 that we are recording now. Next up, a debit order for the cell phone contract was duplicated in error on the bank statement. The bank will correct this in November. The debit order was already entered in the CPJ. So you've already entered that in your CPJ. It's part of your provisional total. But what the bank did on their side is they by accident put through or processed a double debit order. Remember, if the bank is the one making the mistake, it means that you have to indicate that on the bank reconciliation statement. So you are going to say there that you have an error. So error, and this is a debit order. So what they did with this debit order is they debited your account, because remember, at the bank, you have a credit balance if you have a favorable balance. So money in your account is credited, and then whenever payments are made, they will debit the account. That's why it is called a debit order. So if they now by accident debited this amount twice, only the one debit should be there. So you want to get rid of the wrong debit by crediting the account with that amount, right? Because they're going to put that money back into your bank account, and then it's only the one EFT that's left. Next up, a cash withdrawal by debit card to replenish the petty cash. In other words, you took out of your bank account 4,400 to put into your petty cash, and you must now still record it because it's on the bank statement, but not in your books. EFT for 64,000 Rand dated the 23rd. So in other words, they're telling you that you made an EFT payment in favor of XP products. It's on your bank statement, but you have not yet recorded that. So always go back to that first sentence where they tell you what this information is. And in that information, they told us that these are the transactions on the bank statement, but not in your books. And that's why we are recording it now. Then the following items appeared in your journal, so in your CRJ CPJ, but not on the bank statement. So in other words, these are your outstanding EFTs and your outstanding deposits. Just to make it easier to read, I'm rather going to type this. So you had outstanding deposits and you had outstanding EFTs. So I'm going to start with outstanding deposit. Okay, so they are saying that there was a direct deposit by a debtor dated 21 October. Oh, where's my capital? There we go. October 2018. And then there was also an outstanding deposit. I hope there's enough space for listing them separately. Dated 30 October for cash sales. Okay, so these two amounts, it has been received at your, it has been received, but it's not yet reflecting on your bank statement. So the direct deposit by a debtor is in your CRJ CPJ, but it's not on your bank statement yet. So this means that this debtor probably sent you a proof of payment. However, you do not see that on your bank statement yet. You are hoping to see it next month. A deposit dated the 30th of October for cash sales. So in other words, you had sales as per your cash register of 44,800. By the end of the day, you then went to the bank to deposit this money. But remember, there is always a delay. If you make a cash deposit into a bank account, there's always a delay of about 1 to 3 days, depending on when you are depositing the amount. So you're fine with that. You understand that it won't show immediately. But once it reflects on your bank statement, deposits will increase your bank account balance as per the statement. Therefore, we credit the bank reconciliation to show that those will result in more money in our bank account. Then you also had outstanding EFTs. So outstanding EFT. And then you have number 6317. And you also have outstanding EFT 6318. Once again, you can add the dates. I just want to save time now. Right, so it says that these are both dated after the 29th or on the 29th and after. So it could be that you made payment, but the bank statement ended on the 28th of October. So then obviously it will not reflect on your bank statement yet. Or you process the EFT on your side, but it wasn't an immediate payment, therefore it's still a pending payment, so it's not reflecting on the official bank statement. But once it reflects, it will mean that your bank statement balance will decrease. You will have less money in your bank account, so therefore we will debit those amounts. Okay, so these are just items in your cash journals, but not on your bank statement. Then it says that the bank statement dated the 25th. See, so it makes sense for some of these amounts to not yet reflect. So dated the 25th was a favorable balance. And that's what we start with. We always start with balance as per bank statement. And they are saying it's favorable. And remember, if you have a favorable bank balance, then on the statement, then it is a credit balance, even though in your books, it is a debit balance. And that's it. So we now just need to calculate what our balance as per bank account is. And then this balance must be the same as the balance that we get here when we calculate our bank account balance using our opening balance and our journals. So the total for the CPJ is what I'm going to calculate now, just by adding all of the amounts that I've already listed there in my CPJ, and that is 725,610. 725,610. Is that correct? 725,610. There we go. Okay, and then same for the CRJ, plus 9,000, plus 2,400, plus 8,800. So that's 754,900. 754,900. Okay, and remember we said that we must take whatever we got in the CRJ. Wait, let me rather not do that. In the CRJ, and we must now add this to our opening balance. So we received 754,900 Rand. Focusing very hard with the writing, as you can see. Okay, and then with the CPJ, 725,610. Righto. So it's my opening balance plus my CRJ total minus my CPJ total. So I should have 288. There we go. So hopefully we are now going to get the same answer here. So this is what we are saying. This is what we have in our bank account, in our general ledger, according to our records. What they are saying is they have the 212,350. However, they have to fix that error. Then hopefully our deposits will reflect soon. So we add everything on the credit side because that is the one with the bigger total. And we write that total in here on both sides, because remember, debit must be equal to credit. Oh, golly gosh, no, wait, let me rather type this because it's going from bad to worse here. I think it's time to invest in a better writing pad. Right, so we're going to write the total here on both sides. And then we're going to say that, okay, that means that the difference between the total and what I have on the debit side already is then my bank account balance. So 288,090. And there we can see it is the same. That is a 0, I promise. So we are reconciling. Okay, so that's a very basic bank reconciliation.